Hi, Tina.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, can I call you Tina? Is
Yes, that's
that
great.
right? Yeah. Where you from?
I'm actually from Canada. I'm from Vancouver.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And you're from Tokyo, right? Or
Yeah, I lived
or
in
no?
Tokyo before I came to LA, but I'm from Sapporo, which is in
Mm,
Japan.
cool. Yeah, so I'm from Vancouver, but then I've just been in LA for school at
Mm-hmm.
USC.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was a student of Q like my first semester, and like I was actually about to transfer programs, but then I had class with
Uh-huh.
Q, and it was so good that I like decided to stay.
Yeah, what were you learning from Q?
So he was teaching I think it was called creative coding for the web.
Uh-huh.
So it was like HTML, CSS,
Oh,
JavaScript, or P5,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
which
That's
was like a
nice.
lot of fun. And then I
Yeah.
also ended up being a student of Harvey's and also Carrie.
Okay,
So they all
Yamashita.
ended up teaching. They
Yeah.
all taught and I would took all their classes.
Oh, nice, nice. So are you in, is it cinematic arts class at the USC?
Yeah, the program specifically is called Media Arts and Practice,
Uh-huh.
but it's within the like cinematic school, but it's more like interdisciplinary, like multimedia. Uh, it's
Ah.
very broad. So like my classmates and I, like we have very different like interests. Yeah.
I know a lot of students from the USC cinematic arts classes, especially Mike Patterson, teacher, do you know? Mike
Oh,
Patterson's
I think I've
class?
heard of him, but I've never like, I don't think I've taken his classes
Yeah,
before.
yeah, yeah. I think they are a little bit more like traditional animation
Mm,
focused, but yeah,
right.
that's awesome. And
Yeah.
did you already graduate? Or you
Yeah, I
still?
just graduated
Congrats.
last month.
Oh, congrats. Yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been exciting, but also a little bit like nervous because like a lot of like changes, I feel.
The changes in terms of,
I like routine.
oh yeah.
I think it's still like the summer, so it doesn't feel that crazy, but I'm kind of like, oh, like what do I there's like no more school. Like all the time or like,
Like this sudden freedom.
yeah, the freedom, but then some, if you have too much, I don't know, it's like I had too much of it and then it feels a little like existential
Yeah.
to do with my life or like, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely feel you. How long were you in school?
For 4 years, so for my
Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, that's like long time.
yeah, well, and then before that, you know, like school
Mm-hmm,
for
mm-hmm.
the rest of my life before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember when I went to college, which was in Tokyo, but I was also learning like language. I was learning Portuguese. So it's like
Wow,
completely
that's crazy.
unrelated to like what we do.
Oh yeah, I did see and I did a little bit of stalking, but I saw
Oh,
that
thank you.
you did such like a big like trajectory like change. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that was so interesting to see. But I don't know, maybe like yeah, what was that like for you?
Yeah, so I was learning Portuguese at the school in Tokyo, but also like my main focus at the time, I was a dancer for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah, like when I was teenager, I was all about dancing. So I wanted to become dancer. That was like my top dream at the time. And so the learning language was more like a good excuse for me
Oh,
to be able to go to Tokyo, leaving my
oh
home
cool. Yeah.
in Hokkaido, which is a beautiful place and I really like it there. But when you are like high school, I couldn't wait to go to big city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a long time ago. And then I moved to Tokyo and then I was there 6 years. And then, yeah, and then I moved to LA 2011, I think. And then that was kind of around when, I was started interested in more visual and making
Cool.
video art and projection mapping. And yeah, just things kind of like totally changed around there for me. Yeah, yeah.
Was there like one thing that made you realize like this is interesting to you? Or was
Yeah.
that like
Yeah, so it was definitely, I mean, it was a combination. I mean, I was dancing for a long time, and then I even went to New York to test myself, and it's got to somewhere, like I joined like a dance company in
oh
Brooklyn, and it
wow.
was really cool, obviously. But yeah, as you can imagine, it's really difficult to make a living as a dancer.
Yeah.
Also, I was not as
Very
as disciplined I should be. Yeah, but I just liked like multitude of like, what comes with making a dance show. So like, you need a crew, you need to come up with outfit, you
Yeah,
pick
yeah.
music, and then you book some shows. So I was kind of enjoying like all sorts of it. And then that was kind of around when people started using projection as a background. And I was like, that's cool. And that's also when I learned like VJ, visual
Oh,
jockey,
cool. Yeah.
is a thing. So yeah. And then, it was kind of how around when my life was changing, just like kind of like where you are, like graduating college and, or what do I do for a job? And as you can imagine, I was a dancer. So I had a part-time job that pays really poorly, but it had like a good flexibility so that I can get on to auditions and everything. And then that was going on for like 2 years. Like, after I graduated, I was doing some translating job in Tokyo. And then, oh my God, it's gonna be a long story. I tried to make it as concise as possible. But basically, after 2 years, graduated in Tokyo, I was like, I always wanted to go abroad. I liked also international things. That's why I was learning language. But yeah, I was like, I want to go to New York or Los Angeles. And because I tried New York already once, I decided to come to Los Angeles.
Yes.
The time I actually decided I want to go for a long time this time. So I saved up some, small amount of money so that I can come here. And then I came here, and then kind of like a lot of things happened to me. I moved to downtown LA straight into, and
Wow.
then it was a good time because there was a lot of like art happenings, like downtown artwork. Like everyone I meet basically was kind of artist of some kind. And
Oh, cool.
then so I was like, I always liked some, tinkering with creative things. So I was like, oh, why not? I just called myself artist one day, and then I had this brilliant idea that I was also very interested in projection mapping. I was watching lots of YouTube videos. I was a fan, but I wanted to see it, but I can't really find it, if you can imagine, like 10 years ago. So I was like, where can I find it? And I really can't find it. So I decided to post on Craigslist, hey, like, can we do projection mapping crew together? So I just made a post on Craigslist, and I got a bunch of people responded to me. And then
Oh my goodness.
we started this collective called
That's so
Mapjacks.
exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the beginning. That's the beginning of
Oh my
everything.
goodness.
And then I was far away from professional, like I am now, and really like started as like a kind of group of hobbyists at the time.
Wait, that's so amazing. I've never heard of, wow, I feel like it's so not common now to use just like public, like very public like forums like that.
Like a
I feel
kid.
like now it's so like smaller communities and like
Yeah.
stuff. Wait, but that's
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah,
I love
yeah. It was such a fun time. Like I wonder if I have something to show you, but let me see.
the original. Do you still have the original post?
So yeah, I think I actually found it the other day by accident. I don't know if I can follow up, but let me like look around in the meantime. Because it's a YouTube, like eventually I can just like here it is, But I want to
Oh my
show,
goodness,
I
yeah.
want to show
Where it all
it to
began.
you too. Yeah, because I actually did see it the other day. Because actually I was presenting to some USC students. Speaking of
Oh wow.
which. And then by the way, the very reason I decided that maybe I should start recording some of these conversations, because I actually do get, a lot of inquiries from like
Mhm.
young, anywhere from designer, coder,
Right.
artist, just anything like, and like how come like I got here, which is, I don't know if it's helpful, but like, it's like it might be inspiring in one way. So yeah, hold on, let me see. Where can I find it? Okay, where did I
Yeah, I
see
think
it?
for me, like I've
Yeah.
I think it's just helpful to hear like how other people got there, not necessarily to like copy it or to
Uh-huh.
feel like I'm like I have to do the exact same thing, but to know that there's like different ways to do things. Or
Yeah.
like it's sometimes it's like it's not the way that you think you have to do things.
Mm.
Um because I feel like especially like not just USC, but like we're surrounded by a lot of like if you're like not lucky enough to be surrounded by like a lot of creative people, it's very easy to be like, oh, I have to follow like what everyone else is doing.
Right,
And
right.
like with the creative world, I feel like it's always changing and it's so different. Like I also have no idea, but like I like realized that there's a lot of different ways to get places, so it's okay to be more like relaxed or like flexible, but like also like less hard, like be not as like hard on yourself for like not meeting like a certain like deadline or like feeling like yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
this by
yeah.
that.
Oh, I think, hold on, I might have found it. But yeah, I can agree so much more. And yeah, especially like this work. Like that's also another thing I'm trying to like think about is that yeah, so there are so many people like you, like super brilliant, have like multitude of talents, but it's because the industry or this career is like so new and
Yeah.
like you said, like it's changing all the time. So it's, you kind of have to tailor your own way, right? Like with what you got, like, you might be, I want to know more about you, but like you might be good at coding but what else do you have? Like you might like art and I don't know,
Mhm.
everybody has like kind of this. Maybe for me, it was like a little bit of dancing and like
Yeah.
I like shows and I like music. Yeah, so like it's like kind of yeah. It's also like for me, there's so many interesting people out there, and like it'll be nice if there was like sort of a place or community that even those people can meet each other and everything. Yeah, that's kind of like also what's in my mind, and I
Yeah.
want to show you the very
Yes, I want to see.
the very original post. Do you see my screen?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Ah.
Actually, in the past with USC, professor named Lisa Mann, she had a fantastic project with Frankenstein animation seminar, which we created this Frankenstein projection mapping at the Doheny Library. And so I gave a talk one day, like at the beginning of the project, this right bottom projection mapping crew Los Angeles. This is the very post one day I made.
Oh my goodness. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I sometimes I looked at this one and it makes me really happy because actually so the thing was that because I especially I'm self-taught artist and I didn't go to school, which is a really nice. If I did, then like I would have known more like a peers and friends I can do project with. But I was really not desperate, but I really didn't have resources, no money. Obviously I don't have a projector, nothing, like no friends who's into these kind of things. If anything, I had MacBook Pro and I was somewhat good at. I was learning 3D because I knew it's gonna help me create projection mapping. But basically, I wanted to find someone who has projector. So that's the beginning. Yeah. um, I
Oh my
mean,
goodness.
yeah.
That's such a that's such a fun, it's such a sweet post.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, that's where it started, and yeah, till now. Yeah, so it started with this Mapjacks. We did like all sorts of events for a couple of years. It was so much fun. I recommend doing this to anyone like you, because like especially when you are starting, obviously you might need a job, right?
Yeah.
You need to pay your rent, but I so like you have so much energy at the time, so it's a great time to use your energy. I was like having so much fun. Like every week, we meet up and then we meet at like somebody's studio. Somebody has a brilliant studio, which is great. And then somebody has a projector. So say like if we have two projectors, then like we divide into two teams, kind of like a
Mhm.
hackathon style. I mean,
Oh,
we are not
yeah.
competing, but like okay, so we have some animator and designer and composer, so you guys work together. And then okay, we have some, I don't know, dancer and like projection mapping person, blah blah. And then like we just kind of like map different things that's available. Sometimes we were working at a skate park and then we have okay, you guys do this mural and then we are gonna map this something else over here. And then a few hours later, like we can kind of reveal what we created. And
Oh,
I
yeah. That does sound like so much fun.
Yeah, and then that really started from, just doing that for ourselves. And then very quickly it turned into, because we were not really charging money at the time, we just wanted to do it. So we had so many like events that we can show up and just map whatever, and people love it. And then, yeah, it was so much fun time at the beginning. And eventually, a lot of people eventually became professional doing projection mapping. And now we are too busy to do this, hobby event. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yeah. Have you done like a much school projects? Or like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I think I do find most of my like these like sort of like shorter term, like very fun, like just sit and like create
Uh-huh.
things. Mostly for me, they're from school projects
Yeah.
because like I think it's easier if it when it's in school because it's like you have to like finish them. Like
Right.
sometimes like with individual project, it's like, oh, I don't have to like finish this
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
infinitely.
Yeah.
But with school, you have to finish it. And I feel like that I really enjoyed like the creative classes I took, like Q's, like all Q, Harvey, and Carrie, like all their
Mhm.
classes like were so helpful in me like having like a really like fun idea for a project and then like really pushing myself to do something different or try something.
Yeah.
And like honestly, like personally, like I find it harder to do personal projects like when I don't have like the schedule of school to push me to do it.
Oh, tell me about it. Yeah, I
Yeah, and
it's the
also
same
like I
way.
also like the guidelines like or like the constraints of like
Hmm?
school projects a lot. Like I feel like when there's like every single choice possible, like it's impossible for me to like choose what to do.
Right.
But yeah, and I think that's like something I'm trying to work through like right now too, like without like knowing that like I won't have like school projects anymore. So like I
Yeah.
trying to like create a framework for myself to be able to create more for myself. But
Mm-hmm.
being better at, like being better at like actually doing it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like to like enrich my own like creative
Yeah.
like well.
I find it a lot of my projects are there is a project first. Like, usually like, maybe I can show you again. I share my screen again for more of my later professional works. Let me see here. Okay. So yeah, this is my website, and if I go to some of the artworks, uh, yeah, almost all of them. This is in Florida, for example. This is in downtown LA, for example. Most of them, yeah. For me, usually there is a client or someone who has an event or who has an idea to throw some sort of projection mapping event of kind, or light festivals. And then they come to me and then, oh, like, do you want to come up with something? And then like I finally start making something usually.
Yeah.
I guess like because my works often, things like projection mapping, it really depends on what you are projecting onto. Like for
Oh,
example,
right.
for this
Yeah.
one, there is a building, and then like I kind of make something specific for the building. For example, like this one, I'm
Mhm.
mapping each columns. Yeah, so I am terrible at working with my own sort of like deadline. Like I almost don't, I want to do more, but like, yeah, almost like all of the great works I feel like I made thanks to, someone like who asked me if I'm interested
Yeah.
to create. Yeah, this is also Art Tech House in New York.
Oh
This,
yes, I heard
yeah,
actually I actually submitted one of my projects to them. It
you
was
did?
very like it was actually a project I did for Harvey's class, but didn't hear back, but it's okay. I was like just
Oh,
interested in like getting
that's
stuff out
great.
there.
Yeah. This is also like another reason I'm interested to, help you also, uh, how do I say, promote your things
Oh
as well.
yes.
And as well, I'm happy to connect with like people I know, the
Oh, thank
places I
you.
have
Yeah, that's so
worked.
nice.
And yeah, I know because yeah, they might get a lot of submissions, but it always helps to like get a little bit more direct connections.
Mhm.
But yeah, so for example, this one in New York, it was like a neuroscience exhibit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and this piece is called Eureka. And I worked with lead scientist who is Christine Anderson.
Oh
So she's
wow.
actually studying serious neuroscience. So I wouldn't have done it myself if they didn't really, come to me with
Right.
like providing this opportunity to work with such, people who's working in the actual academic field. Yeah, so it's like to me, every project kind of have its own story. Some of them is, with VTProDesign where I work as creative director.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, the Riot Game one. I'm a big fan of Riot Games.
you
I was so
are?
excited to see. Yeah.
Ah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so this one was cool. We projection mapped. There's a headquarter in LA,
Mhm.
and then we projection mapped some dome, and then there were like some other different places, like sort of different experiences throughout. It was
Yeah.
kind of like a super fun premiere event with lots
Oh my
of creative
goodness.
tech involved.
So much fun.
Yeah.
I really love like I was also looking on VTPro's website, but I really love like when there's like experiences that are like connected to like the world or like a story.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, that's like my favorite thing because I feel like it especially to like the general like public, I feel like it like sparks so much more like imagination and like
Yeah,
it's like so much like wonder
definitely.
to like people who like don't really get to see this like normally.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like I feel like now that we have the technology to bring like these like fictional worlds or like stories to life, like I feel like we should be doing it like all the time.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think like that's kind of a, sweet spot for someone like us, It's a very like a brand, like a commercial
Yeah,
experience, but actually this like bamboo walkway was like one of my favorite. This projection
oh
was like
yeah.
so beautiful. And yeah, I love that, anything sort of experiential events are there's so much joy in actually like experiencing the event itself because, of course, like camera and like kind of video can capture, but like being there and actually seeing this whole people's reaction is like maybe like always
Yeah.
what really feels rewarding to work on a project like this.
I
Yeah.
feel like part of it is like the like attention to like detail or like when
Hmm.
you like take like something that's like I guess like a film, it's very like framed, right? Like everything in the frame is like has been thought out.
Yeah.
And like you're seeing exactly what they want you to see. But when you
Hmm.
like make it into like an experience, you have to suddenly be like, oh, like originally I was only looking at the room like this way, but we have to build the whole room where there's like
Yeah.
the back and like all these things. But I think that's what makes it like so realistic for like an audience member to come and like see the visual storytelling like match.
Hmm.
Like the bamboo walkway, like I don't know, like no one's ever like, oh, I've seen this exact like pattern before in the animation, but like they know exactly from like the similar
Oh,
patterns
thank
or from
you.
like
Thank you for that. Yeah.
yeah, like it's like I think it's like the small things like the visual storytelling coming over, like it's so it like makes everything like the attention to detail I think is what makes it really
Yeah.
stand out and
Yeah.
like a subconscious they'd be like, oh wow, this is like this world like in real life.
So you know Arcane, like you watched it.
Yeah, I watched Arcane.
It's such a great show. Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah. So I actually made this particular animation.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I made this one in Unreal Engine. Some particle system with like a
Um,
kind of this geometry that made it look like their world coming from their architecture elements. And yeah, this was like a really cool to see projected in this large dome where premiere happened, and then the walkway with like everybody was dressed up like with all sorts of
oh
costume,
wow.
which was
Oh,
really cool.
that makes it even cooler. Like
Yeah, I should find a video, or I don't know if I can find it on a VT Pro's website, but yeah, it was like such a cool event. I
I
wonder.
feel like that's so awesome when that happens because like it's like many people who are like are providing their own like parts of the experience like parts of the story and then coming together makes it so much like better
Yeah.
because like
Okay.
the audience members like they come dressed up and then that like just makes everything seem like even like cooler like like
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess like this is the maybe the same video we watched, huh? But yeah, so we work with like a fabricator, who makes these amazing sculptures and like physical objects. And then
wow.
we have a creative tech department at the VT Pro who can kind of like embed, LED lights to like sensors and like those.
Mhm.
Oh, that's the workway. Yeah. The
Ooh.
physical items to come to life with creative tech. And then I kind of like work with creative team. So we do more of like animation and content but
Mhm.
it kind of sometimes overlaps. I also do sometimes real time as long as it's not too complicated, I can do that myself. Yeah.
Like OBS.
Yeah. The coding, like I'm not very I'm still a baby coder. Yeah, but yeah, so this is VTPro's project, and
Yeah. What an amazing project. Yeah, I love that. Or maybe I'm just because I'm like following Riot Games, but I love that these game companies are doing more like real like experiences, not
yeah,
just like digital stuff. I feel like it's both like a really good place for like community to gather, like
definitely.
like face to face, but also for them to make their like story more interesting or like their world building to like keep expanding.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, like, if you like these worlds, then yeah, that's kind of like one thing that you can also like have it in mind, like as you
Right.
create maybe your own project, what if you are creating something for Riot Games,
I've definitely thought about that before. It makes me like a bit nervous,
Why? Yeah.
but yeah.
I mean, as long as, it's not stealing, but like
Yeah.
paying respect, then, show
Mhm.
it to them and, you don't know what is going to happen. Yeah.